This is 5 on your side at 4. Focused on you.
And we begin at 4 with a live look at 270 near Gravois. There it is, more rain and thunderstorms moving across the area, and right now, some areas are at risk of flooding. Thank you for joining us. I'm Brent Solomon. Kate Quinn has the day off. Our Weather First team is tracking that developing weather for you. Chief Meteorologist Scott Cano here with more on tonight's storm potential.
And you know, Brent, right off the bat, the first thing we need to know is, no, we are not looking at severe weather, but what we're looking at is slow-moving thunderstorms that are popping up and percolating across the same areas, and they're dropping some very heavy rainfall, and it's prompted a few flood advisories, and it's certainly going to impact the evening commute. You see the storms scattered across the area, especially from the metro area and then going to the south. We do have this area right now that just was issued a moment ago, a new flood advisory that includes the city, the southern half of St. Louis City, southern and southeastern portions of St. Louis County, and northeastern portions of Jefferson County. You see the clusters of thunderstorms around the metro area, and already where that advisory is in effect, we're beginning to see the rain start to diminish, but it's going to slow the commute down here. Already has along 270 as you make your way south of 4064 down towards Highway 44. And then you have the heavier rain just off to the east and northeast of St. Louis too. That's going to impact the commute along 270 as well as 255. Some of that rain drenching. So you get a quick ½ an inch to an inch, and that happens with very little time for it to run off. Flood advisories also parts of St. Genevieve and St. Francis County. So we have our weather alert from now until about 7 o'clock tonight, when these showers and thunderstorms will diminish, and then we should have a pretty dry weekend. But it's mainly for localized flooding, especially in the poor drainage and low-lying areas. We'll see you with better news for the weekend, Brent, in a few minutes.
All right, we can use that good news. Thank you, Scott. New at 4, we're hearing from the widow of a St. Louis police officer killed on the job. This month, the jury found Thomas Kenworthy guilty in the 2020 murder of Officer Tamaris Bohannon. Now, his wife is speaking exclusively with 5 on your side. Our Christine Byers is the only reporter speaking with Alexis Bohannon, who is now working to keep his memory alive. I bet this was an emotional interview, Christine.
It sure was, Brent. Mental health is an issue that's near and dear to Alexis Bohannon's heart. She's been an advocate for those who have struggled with it throughout her life. So when she saw her husband's killer fake symptoms to use it in his defense, she says it infuriated her. Officer Tamaris Bohannon left behind 3 children younger than 10 when he was killed. He was one of the first on the scene when Thomas Kenworthy barricaded himself inside a stranger's home after shooting at a homeless man. His attorneys argued he was experiencing an acute mental health episode, but Alexis believes he was faking it, and so did the jury.
There's a lot of people who really struggle with mental health issues, and most of them don't kill people.
Alexis is continuing her husband's legacy through the Tamaris Bohannon Memorial Foundation. It's a nonprofit that helps undergrads pursue degrees in criminal justice, social work, human services, and criminology. Her latest fundraiser includes t-shirts with the word guilty and the date of the verdict on it.
Using her grief for good. Christine, thanks. A bizarre Friday morning at the 2024 PGA Championship in Kentucky. This year's Masters champion, Scottie Scheffler, was detained after police say he attacked an officer. ESPN reporting he drove past a police barricade, and according to the charging documents, a detective is in the hospital now after being dragged by the golfer's vehicle. Scheffler's attorney says the arrest was due to a, quote, miscommunication. Well, when there's a fight at school, many students take out their cell phone and start recording. That video is often uploaded to social media. But can that cause more harm than good? One local district is now working to get in front of the issue. 5 on your side's Travis Cummings takes a closer look.
Recordings of violence in schools and those involving students continue to blast across the internet. Recently, students in St. Louis have held the spotlight.
It's sad to see, and it just lets us know, and it lets me know the value and the importance of keeping children safe.
Superintendent Dr. Paula Knight tries to get ahead of any issues in the Jennings School District in North St. Louis County.
As I tell the team, I tell my senior cabinet, we all love a story until we become a headline.
That's why policy is in place to prohibit the use of cell phones on campus. 5 on Your Side reported when one of their campuses started using Yonder pouches, a place for phones to stay during the school day.
While it was met with a level of resistance, I do have parents and, quite frankly, some students who will say, Dr. Knight, I just want to make sure that these pouches are staying in place so that we all can concentrate on being in school and feeling safe.
Students can be pulled into a conference or even get suspended for fighting or attending a fight, or have their phones confiscated. I asked SLU criminology professor Kenya Brumfield-Young about the legal ramifications of recording off campus.
What does that accountability look like?
Missouri does not have a duty to intervene law. So there's nothing that says if you're there and it's an incident that somehow that you have to intervene or you're, culpable at some level.
These two academics say what's captured on the lens can last a lifetime.
You may be 12, 13, 14, 15. But, these recordings, they never go away.
How can we actually address these things that lead up to the events being recorded? How do we address that so we get to the point where there is nothing to record?
Travis Cummings reporting there. Missouri law does not ban recording school fights, although school districts can develop their own policies. Advocates returning home from D.C. The latest on the fight for radioactive compensation. And preps for the Paris Olympics are underway. The venue set up to support the LGBTQ+ community.
A community comes together to honor a Chinatown that sat here for 100 years in downtown St. Louis.